Ryan Spann did something to Ion Cutelaba that not a lot of people do, and not a lot of people saw this coming. So much so that Ryan Spann hit on a plus 1400 submission prop against Ion Cutelaba. Live betting, it was plus 900, but by the time we covered it, it was still plus 1400. Either way, the Greco-Roman wrestling of Ion Cutelaba, man, it seemed like it was causing Ryan Spann some problems until you forget, oh yeah, this Ryan Spann, 6'4", dude, second tallest dude in the division, he's not just some big brute striker. This dude got jiu-jitsu chops, and he put them on full display. What do you make of this fight, man? It was quick. It was a round. We saw some crisp striking from Spann for a little bit. Ion Cutelaba, wild as ever, like he always is. But his grappling, man, didn't really seem to be sharp, or as sharp as it normally is against Ryan Spann. Was this more of Ryan Spann's defense, or was this Ion Cutelaba a little bit of an off night? What do you think?
I wasn't going to say off night. I was going to say underestimating Ryan Spann.
Yeah,
It's kind of what it looked like. When you walk in there, you think, I'm better than this dude all day, every single day. I'm going in there, and then he shows you a little something.
Yeah.
Proves you a little something different. You're like, oh, shit. Next I feel like that's the kind of fight that Ion Cutelaba found himself in, and he wasn't necessarily expecting it. Once it's there, though, real hard to deal with, and you can tell submission round one, plus 1,400, especially at the open, man. Not a lot of people are very confident in that submission. I'm sure Ion Cutelaba was one of them where he's thinking, this dude has zero chance of making me tap. I'm good, no problems at all here. Next thing you know, you see that world closing in. Yeah, I was very impressed by the Spann. The whole fight, it was actually really good. A little bit of defense on the ground, shooting hips, man. It was nice.
And it's funny because, Ion Cutelaba, he did successfully notch 3 of 3 takedowns, like 100% takedown accuracy. You just still end up getting guillotined because you're being that wrestler who's just going in, and, it was actually from the standing position, so it was interesting because Ryan Spann snatched up the standing guillotine and then dropped down to finish the choke, which I thought was a thing of beauty. Total strikes between the two, 7 combined strikes in this fight. So that's why it's like these light heavyweight fights, sometimes they just go in weird ways. You think you have a slobber knocker on your hands, the next thing you know, you got a jiu-jitsu match, a glorified jiu-jitsu match. I thought this was a big win for Ryan Spann, who, came off a pretty devastating loss to Anthony Smith in his last outing. He got rear naked choked, man. So he lived by the jiu-jitsu, died by the jiu-jitsu, I guess. But at the end of the day, I think this does a good job to propel him. I think we'll be talking about Ryan Spann a little bit more in the future in terms of the light heavyweight division. But for Ion Cutelaba, man, this is a major setback right here. Let's just take a look at his kind of recent outings. He is 1-3-1 in his last 5. Lost to Ryan Spann, 2 to Magomed Ankalaev, and then a draw to Dustin Jacoby. His only win in there has been a decision, and it was against Devin Clark. So using his wrestling was definitely a good move, especially in this fight, and I think it can still take him very far. What advice do you have? I'm not going to say technical advice because who are we, right? But I'm just saying, in terms of the game plan, do you think he should stick to this wrestling-heavy game plan, or do you think he should try to step back and try to go back to that incredible Hulk smash style?
Man, I think he needs to stick with the wrestling. Sure, it didn't work out tonight. Sure, Spann got the best of him. But like I said, maybe because he was a little underestimated, So Cutelaba does have a really good ground game, and you don't really want to see him go back to the ways where he's getting knocked out by Ankalaev both in round 1. The Hulk smash style works really, really well until everybody figures out that this is all you have, and they can do it, X number of things against it, man. So if I'm with the Cutelaba camp, I'm telling him we stick true, man. We stay to the wrestling. We stay there. Sure, you got caught. It is what it is. It's better than getting caught and getting knocked out.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You're absolutely right, and I agree. I just think that Ion Cutelaba needs to be a little more precise with his shots. I think that was the only thing that was really missing there, is that he was a little reckless with those entries. Like, he was just trying to dive on Spann, and Spann was just a little too athletic, man. He was truly just he was just a quicker athlete. Even though he's a bigger guy, he was the quicker athlete, more athletic dude, and it showed, man. So that's how he was able to lock up the guillotine. And given that it was such a short fight, there's really not much else to talk about other than Ryan Spann also notched a 50K performance bonus.